So let's look at this. The Cathars revered Mary Magdalene as a primary spiritual teacher. I mean, we know in modern Christianity, throughout Christianity, women can't be pastors. They can't be teachers and to be quiet in the church. They seeing her as the true embodiment of divine wisdom, Sophia, and a powerful female apostle. Yeah, Sophia is the counterpart to Christ. Why would that be a problem for Christianity? Oh, Jesus was a Jew. If Jesus was Jesus is a Jew, if he's married with kids, and he was a rabbi, which was typical, then how can they extract him from Judaism and create a line of succession hierarchically for Christians? Because they created Christianity in the 4th century and canonized only 4 of the 21 Gospels in the Council of Nicaea. Why did they only take 4 of the 21 Gospels? Well, it was an imperial Europe with male succession lines. And if Mary Magdalene, was the wisdom and Jesus was wise, right? If the wisdom came from her, how do they justify women, not speaking in the church? How do they control women? How do they have control if wisdom really came from a woman? How do they have control over that? How do they control the only access point to heaven and God if women have a direct access and are wise through their intuition, which we know women have intuition? Okay, let's keep going. So, contrasting her with the patriarchal Catholic Church that marginalized her. They believe she held secret knowledge from Jesus, possibly even a spousal relationship, the Cathars did, which explained the Holy Grail legend and lineage. Sophia is creation. Her spiritual womb, my soul's name is Sophia. Last fall, I figured that out 2 days before the second coming happened, and I was woken up at 1 a.m., and my intuition guided me to accept, my God, I'm Sophia. And then within a minute, a huge thunderstorm hit. And I live in Southern California. Thunder and rain and lightning and everything, 15 minutes and then gone. Mother Earth. Weather's a lot like emotions. So let's get back to the Cathar beliefs about Mary Magdalene. So the Cathar saw Mary Magdalene as Sophia. And intuitively it came through that Jesus used to call her my Sophia. But he couldn't tell everybody that because women weren't teachers. He had to be the leader. He was the one talking. He's the one that knew, right? And he couldn't tell everybody that the wisdom came from her. Had to keep that quiet, right? So Sophia, representing divine wisdom, a crucial spiritual figure whose role was suppressed by the mainstream church. Yeah. Femininity was being suppressed. It started about 2,500 years ago when Yahweh's wife, Asherah, started being suppressed with the rise of masculinity. Apostle to the apostles, they considered her even more significant than Peter, recognizing her as a key conduit of Jesus' true teachings as hinted in the Gospel of John. Spousal relationship and lineage. Some Cathar traditions, influenced by Gnostic ideas, early Christianity, okay, and interpretations of Scripture suggested that she was Jesus' wife, the mother of a spiritual or physical lineage, the Jesus dynasty. Why do you think the Catholic Church spends so much time focusing on the virginity of Jesus' mom? They got to have women, but what are women doing? They're just good little virgins at home, they don't say anything. That's easy to control. Symbol of the sacred feminine. She represented the divine feminine, a spiritual ideal of purity and enlightenment that contrasted with the material world they deemed evil. Enlightenment. I experienced enlightenment yesterday. I know I don't need the church to access the divinity inside of my own soul, which I'll call enlightenment. Enlightenment. So the church is controlling women's emotions. Oh, enlightenment is an emotion. We now know. So, yeah, let's keep going. Keepers of the Grail. Esoteric traditions link Cathars to guarding the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail, Mary Magdalene. Sophia, wisdom. Believed to be Mary Magdalene's bloodline or secret knowledge, which was supposedly protected by the Templars. Courtly love. Their reverence for Magdalene connected with the chivalric traditions of the troubadours in southern France, celebrating feminine spiritual power. Okay, so that's important, okay, because romantic and chivalrous traditions rose because the kings and the nobles were taking all the women. So they had to find a way to get women to go to men with not as much money. So controlling women is a huge through line of the past 2,500 years. How can we control women, women's emotions, women's voices, women's intuition? We're going to get into that in a second because, of course, people were killed during the Crusades. People were killed for saying, my female soul, I'm a woman, I can connect to God with my intuition. We'll get into that. So, and then in France, of course, in France. So the Gnostic roots, like other Gnostic groups, Cathars sought secret knowledge, gnosis, from salvation, seeing Mary Magdalene as a primary source of this hidden wisdom, distinct from the church's dogma.